Okay, well this is 10.1, 10.2 quiz review, and you guys need to be able to find the area of this. A lot of times when you're looking at a parallelogram, you need to realize you're going to be connecting an equation to the picture. And you got area is equal to base times height. So my area is based on 36 because the opposite over here is 36 and this is 40. And how do I know it's 36 versus 40 is the fact that this is perpendicular here, and area is a perpendicular connection between the two measurements. So I've got 36 for my base, and my height is 33. So I got 36 times 33, and that's going to give me 1108. Excuse me, 1,188. Now, keep in mind, it's got to have units. You got to dress it up. You can't have it walking around naked. Okay, so that's what we've got. That's our answer for question 1. In question 2, we are looking at a triangle. And in a triangle, we're looking at a base and a height. Okay, I don't care about the extra stuff because the height is the distance from the base to the vertex opposite it, or it's the distance from the line that contains the base to the vertex opposite. So I have still area is equal to base times height, but it's half of it. So now I'm looking at that I've got my 1/2, my base, 5.4, times my height, which is 2. So I've got 5.4 is going to be my answer here. And because this and this are going to be knocking each other out, that's 1. But 5.4, not 5.2, 5.4 is my answer here. And it's centimeters squared. Okay, so my letter A. Now in the next problem, problem 3, I'm looking at an area, and it is an area that's chopped up. So I'm going to find the area of the rectangle and the area of the triangle. So I've got base times height plus 1/2 base times height is equal to my total area. Okay, because I've got the rectangle and I've got the triangle. The rectangle dimensions are 9 times 13. This 9 and this 13. So 9 times 13 plus 1/2. My dimensions of my triangle are a base of 11. And now my issue is to find this. I know that this whole thing is 13, so 13 minus 8 is 5, is that height. So I multiply by 5. So now I've got 9 times 13. That's going to be 117 plus 1/2 of 55. So I've got 117 plus 55 divided by 2. And that's 144.5. And again, I've got to dress it up, centimeters squared. 144.5, excuse me. I think I said 145.2, so it's 144.5, and that's centimeters squared. Okay. In problem 4, we're looking at finding another dimension. And keep in mind, don't let it freak you out or anything. I'm still looking at a parallelogram's base times height. I still got area is equal to base times height. I've got my base, I've got my height. Okay, so now I've got base times height, and those two dimensions are perpendicular to one another. So I got 36 times 24. So 36 times 24 is equal to 864. Okay, and by the way, that's my units squared. But now keep in mind that was 36 times 24. I want to find the dimension of h if I use this as my base. So the area stays the same, so area is base times height. The area stays the same, 864. My base now is 27, and I'm looking for height. I divide that 864 by 27, and I get 32. 32 is my h, so A is my answer. In 5, I have a trapezoid, okay? And again, I'm pulling out another formula. Area is equal to 1/2 base. And really, you'll see 1/2 height, base 1 plus base 2. And you'll see me talking about the average of the two bases times the height, because that's what that division by 2 does. But my bases are 7 units apart. Okay, my bases are 7 units apart. This has got to be perpendicular to this, and this is a trapezoid, so I know this and this are parallel, and that means that this is also perpendicular. So I'm looking at 1/2 7 times base 1, which is 8, plus base 2, which is 12, and I'm getting my answer of 70 because this is 8 plus 12, which is 20, divided by 2 is 10. So I've got 70 inches squared as my solution. In 6, I got another trapezoid, except I got a 45, 45, 90 triangle given here. And some folks are like, really, 45 degrees? If this is 45 degrees and this is 90, this is also 45 degrees. Now, I know that this top thing is 11. So this is 11, and the stuff I'm missing is 6. So this must be 6, because in a 45, 45, 90, x the square root of 2. I'm not asked to find anything more than that. This is a 45, 45, 90 pattern, and I got to know that these are the same. That's how I know. I knew this from 17 minus 11. That's how I got 6. And because this is 6, this also is 6. So now I've got a trapezoid. Area is equal to 1/2 base 1 from base 2, but I'm going to put it in the formula you normally see in the order. Okay. So I've got 1/2 height, base 1 plus base 2. My height 6. My base 1 is 17. My base 2 is 11. Okay. So now I've got 1/2 of 6 times 28. And I've got 28 times 3, because that's half of 6. And I'm going to get 84 as my answer. So it's 84 feet squared. Okay, remember, I'm looking for formulas, I'm looking for the values you're plugging in, and I'm looking for your answer all dressed up with units. My last one here is 7. When I'm looking at problem 7, I've got a 20 and a 10 and a 3 and a 3. This is area is equal to 1/2 diagonal 1 times diagonal 2, because my diagonals in a kite are perpendicular. So now I have 1/2, and 10 plus 20 is 30. 1/2 of 30 times 6. And half of 30 is 15. 15 times 6 is going to give me a 90. And so I have 90 feet squared for my answer. In problem 8, it is again 2 diagonals that are perpendicular in a rhombus. And I have area is equal to 1/2 diagonal 1 times diagonal 2. So I got 1/2. 16 times 16, that's 256, divided by 2 is 128 meters squared. And that's the end of the 10-1, 10-2 quiz, just to make sure you know what's going on. Okay? Now remember, always write down your formulas, always fill in your numbers.